Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is July 31st. The trade market is heating up. The Marlins and their losing streak. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? It is Friday. It is the last day of the week. It is the last day of the month, July 31st here. Tomorrow is August. We're into the back half of the season here. 4 months done pretty much, and just 2 more to go. But of course, all eyes are on Monday for the MLB trade deadline this season, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Monday, August 3rd. That is what we're waiting for. That is going to be a crazy day. Lots of trades still need to happen. I feel like the market's been a little quiet, but it has heated up over this week. We'll be talking about all that and more. But first, as usual, let's dive on into our series recap. Leading us off, we go to last weekend for the Mariners and Rangers as they finish off the last of a 4-game set. Jock Peterson, a 2-homer game. Ezekiel Duran homers. Jake Berger homers. Texas ends up taking 3 of 4 from Seattle, going back to last weekend with a 7-3 victory for the Rangers. Speaking of the Rangers, they go now to be in Tampa Bay, where the Rangers take on the Rays. Austin Wynns hits his first home run of the season, helping the Rangers to a 4-1 victory. Yandy Diaz and Ryan Vilade both homer in the first, and the pitching does the rest as they blank Texas 3-0 Tampa. And in the last game, Johnny DeLuca homers. He ties it in the 6th inning. Then Cedric Mullins hits a go-ahead home run in the 8th to put the Rays up as they take the series 3-2. Rays 2-1 in the series. Orioles and Tigers now. Leody Taveras, Kobe Mayo, and Tyler O'Neill all go deep as Baltimore takes the first game 8-5. But here come those Detroit Tigers. They score a run in all 8 of their innings. Every inning they scored at least 1 run, including a 2-homer game from Eduardo Valencia, and Gleyber Torres gets in on the action. He homers as well. Tigers up 14-0 in the blowout. In the last game, the Oilers come back from down 7 with 5 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th to tie it in extras. Neither team scores in the 10th. Both of them score 2 in the 11th. Torkelson ties it with a 2-run shot, but the Oilers get 1 in the 12th, and they finally hold the Tigers. They get the hard-fought win, 10-9. Baltimore in 12. They take this series. Yankees and White Sox, they played for Ali Sanchez. After 75 games across 4 seasons, he finally gets his first career MLB home run. The Yankees score 4 in the 8th for some insurance. They take the opener 9-5. In the second game, the Yankees score 3 in the 2nd, and that was enough as they'll hold on to a 3-2 victory. In the next game, Sam Antonacci and Munetaka Murakami hit back-to-back homers in the 8th as they tie this game up. Yankees get 1 in the 11th, but the White Sox get it back on an error and end up walking it off the next inning with an Edgar Quero RBI single for the win. 6-5 White Sox in 12. In the last game, after 0 runs through 9, we go to extras where both teams score in the 10th. The White Sox end up walking it off again, this time on a bases-loaded walk to Tristan Peters with 4 straight balls. It wasn't Tristan Peters. He scored the run. 2-1 White Sox in 11. The White Sox walk off back-to-back games in extras to split the 4-game set. The Royals and Twins. Now the Twins get the last laugh as Royce Lewis gets a 2-run walk-off triple. As the Twins finish the comeback, they get the win, 3-2 the final. In the next game, Tyler Tolbert homers while Randy Dobnak shoves against his former team. The Royals blank the Twins 4-0 the final. And in the last game, bottom 9th, down 3, bases loaded, 2 outs, 2 strikes, 1 pitch from a shutout win. But Cody Clemens rewrites this game with the ultimate walk-off grand slam. The Twins have 2 comeback walk-off wins in this series. 4-3 Minnesota, they take 2 of 3. Red Sox and A's now, they played a 4-game set. So Dane Rafaela hits a grand slam for the Red Sox, which is all they needed in a 4-2 victory. Brian Serven hits his first home run since 2022 as he helps the A's get the win 4-3 the final. In the third game, we have 3 solo shot home runs plus an RBI single, which leads us to a tie game going into extras, where it's Boston's own Andrew Monasterio hitting a 2-run home run. That gets Boston up as they take a 4-2 victory in 10. And in the last game, Wilyer Abreu and Wilson Contreras hit back-to-back home runs in the 8th. Wilyer Abreu ties it. Wilson Contreras takes the lead. The Red Sox take 3 of 4 from the A's. They win that one 5-4. Those and Angels. Now the Astros flip the script in the 9th, scoring 4 runs in the 9th to go from down 2 to up 2 as they come back to take the opener 6-4. In the second game, Yordan Alvarez and Christian Walker both homer the Astros with a 3-2 victory. And in the last game, it's Yanyer Diaz and Jeremy Pena who both homer in a 7-4 Astros win as the Houston Astros sweep the Angels. Phillies and Marlins now, Heriberto Hernandez and Griffin Conine, they both homer. Despite this, the Marlins enter the 9th down 2, trying to avoid their 13th straight loss. Heriberto Hernandez comes through, though, with a game-tying 2 RBI single, which sets up Griffin Conine to deliver the walk-off single as the Marlins end the 12-game losing streak. They take the opener against the Phillies 8-7 the final. Kyle Stowers hits a solo home run in the first, which is the only run of this game as the Marlins go on to win it 1-0. And in the last game, the Phillies scored 6 unanswered and were looking good, but the Marlins scored 8 unanswered afterwards. They come back with home runs from, once again, Heriberto Hernandez and Griffin Conine as the Marlins go from a 12-game losing streak to sweeping the Phillies. 8-6 Marlins the final in that one. Braves and Mets. Lindor has a 2-homer game. Marcus Semien goes deep. Tyrone Taylor as well. The Mets tee off on the Braves 14-3 the final. The second game was postponed due to rain, which sets up the doubleheader on Wednesday. Carson Bench with the go-ahead double in the 7th, leading the Mets to a 3-2 victory. But then Matt Olson in Game 3 of the series, Game 2 on the day, RBI single, for the only run of the game. The Braves with a 1-0 victory. They avoided the sweep by splitting the doubleheader. Mets take 2 of 3 though. Blue Jays and Nationals now. Luis Urias homers as the Blue Jays take the opener in a 3-2 victory. Shane Bieber walks 6 in the first, including 3 runs that come in on bases loaded walks, which end up being the difference in this one. Luis Garcia Jr., Dylan Cruz homered for the Nats. Okamoto and Springer homer for the Jays. Springer's 3-run shot made it a 2-run game, but you take away those 3 runs in the first inning, Blue Jays end up winning it. Instead, Nats hold on to an 8-6 victory. And in the rubber match, the Jays get 5 unanswered across 3 innings as they take this series versus Washington 5-2 Toronto. Cubs and Cardinals now. Alex Bregman and Nico Horner both go deep in a 7-3 Cubs victory. The Cubs then scored 7 runs in the first 2 innings of Game 2 while holding off the Cardinals in a 10-2 victory. In Game 3, you get 0 runs after 9, which sends us to extras. Pete Crow Armstrong, a 2-run home run, bat flips it. He's feeling good, but the Cardinals get the last laugh in this game. They nab 3 runs, including a 2-run walk-off double from Ivan Herrera, as the Cardinals get the 3-2 walk-off victory in 10. In the next game, J.J. Weatherholt, he homers to tie this game up. We go another extra innings game. This time the Cubs get 2 runs and hold the Cardinals. They finish off the 4-game set with the extra innings win. The Cubs taking 3 of 4 from the Cardinals. They win that last game 4-2. Guardians and Reds now. The first game is postponed due to rain, which sets up the doubleheader on Tuesday, where Kyle Manzardo hits a grand slam in the first. The Cardinals go on to The Guardians go on to take the first game 6-5, the final in that one. J.J. Bleday with the home run helps the Reds split the doubleheader in a 2-0 victory for Cincy. But in the rubber match of the Ohio series here, the Guardians score 4 in the 5th. Kyle Manzardo would homer again in this series. The Guardians take a 6-1 victory and the series in the Battle of Ohio. D-backs and Pirates now. Brandon Lau is the hero in extras. He hits the walk-off single for the opener for the Pirates. They take the 3-2 victory in 10 in walk-off fashion. Another extra innings game in this one as the Pirates come back from down 6 with 3 in the 8th and 3 in the 9th to tie it. Brandon Lau hits the 2-run shot, and then Brian Reynolds ties it with his solo shot. They go back-to-back in the 9th, but even though the Pirates went on this miraculous comeback, the D-backs hold on with a score in the 12th and beat the Pirates 8-7. In the last game, Gabriel Moreno homers in a low-scoring win for the D-backs as they blank the Pirates 3-0 the final to take this series. Brewers and Giants now. Grant McRae hits his first home run of the season while pitching, blanks the Brew Crew. Giants with the opener 3-0 the final. In the second game, the Brewers score 8 unanswered throughout this one. They go on to win it 8-2 the final. And in the last game, Daniel Susek hits his first and second career MLB home runs. The Giants score 7 runs in the 6th. They blow it open to take this series from the Brewers. They win it 16-3. Rockies and Padres played a little 2-game mini set this week. Padres and Rockies go back and forth in the first one, blow for blow, and it ends up with the Padres coming back and walking it off in the 9th on a Xander Bogaerts sac fly. The Padres with an 8-7 victory. Then in the next game, the Padres score 3 in the 4th. They hold the Rockies to just 1 run as the Padres win it 3-1 and take the 2-game mini sweep over the Rockies. Lastly, you have the Mariners and the Dodgers. Cal Raleigh, Julio, Rob Refsnyder all go deep. This one ends up down still for the Mariners. Dominic Canzone then home runs to tie this game up, and next at bat hits the 2-run home run to put the Mariners up. That's the difference as the Mariners, thanks to Dominic Canzone's 2-homer game, wins it 7-6. In the next game, Andy Pages homers, which starts 4 unanswered for the Dodgers in this one as they go on to win it 4-2. And in the last game, Dalton rushing a 3-run home run. Teoscar Hernandez a solo shot. Dodgers with a 6-2 victory to take 2 of 3 from the Mariners. And that's your series recap. All right, now let's get into it. Now, usually this is where we'd be talking about the game of the week, but not only was there not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, there was a lot of great baseball this week. If you missed this week's action, do yourself a favor, go back, just look at some of the highlights of some of the games here. I'm just going to list them off kind of just quickly. We're going to go through them a little bit because, yeah, like I said, there was a lot of great games in this week, really. It starts really in Miami. You're on a 12-game losing streak. Things are bad. Here come the Phillies, who are not in first place, but are still a decent team. Bryce Harper, he homers in the first inning. Herberto Hernandez homers in the first inning to tie this one up. Then Griffin Conine homers. Marlins are feeling good. They're up 3 after the first 2 innings, but the Phillies score 4 in the 6th. Bohm a single, Real Muto a double, Crawford a single. Next thing you know, the Phillies are in the lead. Real Muto a sac fly. The Phillies are up 2. We're looking at a 13-game losing streak, but Herberto Hernandez, the guy who homered in the first, he ties the game with a 2 RBI single, and then Griffin Conine, the guy who homers in the second, he walks off with the RBI single. The Marlins come back to win this one and end the 12-game losing streak. A really great game overall, that one. The Rockies and Padres in the 2 games that they had, that first one, it wasn't anything crazy, but it was a back-and-forth game. Padres get 2 in the second. Rockies score 4 in the third. They take the lead. Padres tie it in the 6th. Then the Rockies retake the lead in the 7th with 2 runs. The Padres get 2 runs in their 7th. So the Rockies take a lead with a run in the 8th, but the Padres tie it with a run in the 8th. And then Xander Bogaerts ends up walking it off in the sac fly. Bases were loaded and no outs, so you knew it was kind of over anyways. And Bogaerts, he had a walk-off grand slam against the Rockies back in April already, so we could have saw some deja vu. Instead, it's just a sac fly, but a really fun back and forth. Rocky score, Padres tie it. Rocky score, Padres tie it, so that was a really fun one as well. The Mariners and the Dodgers, hello. What are we doing over here in LA? This was a really fun one. Ohtani with the leadoff home run, his 23rd of the season. Cal Raleigh hits his 11th to tie the game up. Julio hits his 16th. That ties the game up again. Then Refsnyder's home run gives the Mariners the lead, but the Dodgers just end up scoring 3 unanswered. Max Muncy hits his 21st home run of the season. That puts the Dodgers up Next inning, Dominic Canzone, his 17th. He reties this game up. And then in the 8th, a 2-run shot to put the Mariners up. His 18th of the season. Dominic Canzone's 2-homer day helps save it. Dodgers get 1 in the 9th, but not the 2nd. Mariners hold on in a wild game, which saw, I believe, what's the total there? 7 home runs hit. So that's a really fun one in LA. You had the game between Baltimore and Detroit. I mean, this one was going way back and forth. Tigers, they were up 7-0 after Zach McKinstry hit a 2 RBI double in the 6th. But Baltimore gets 5 in the 7th. Tavares a single, Holiday a 2-run single, Ward a 2-run single. Very next inning in the 8th with 2 runners on. Kobe Mayo ties this game up with a triple. Baltimore comes back from down 7. We go into extras. Nobody scores in the 10th. In the 11th, Baltimore gets 2 runs on a sac fly and a Jackson Holiday single. Then bottom 11, Spencer Torkelson, his 20th home run of the season, his 100th of his career, immediately ties this game up. You're thinking good for Detroit. They end up going to the 12th where Colton Cowser picks up the RBI single. And finally, Baltimore holds the Tigers. They win it 10-9 in 12. An awesome game in what could be, if Skubal is traded, the last start of his career. He picked up his 1,000th career strikeout during that game. Was sent off really nicely when he was pulled from this game. And as a Detroit fan, you don't know what's going to happen to Skubal, but if it is it ends on a high. We keep going, though. There's more games to be talking about. We're going back to Miami. Philly and Marlins again to wrap up this series. Marlins looking for a sweep after the 12-game losing streak. Philly scores 2 in the 3rd. They get 1 in the 4th and then 3 in the 5th. Trey Turner with a home run in that inning. The Phillies are up 6-0. They're feeling good, but here come the Marlins. They get a run in the 5th. Then Herberto Hernandez, 2-run shot in the 5th inning. His 16th of the season. He had a huge series. Bottom 7, Otto Lopez the single. Then Xavier Edwards, a 2-run single. It's 6-6. And then in the bottom of the 8th, the go-ahead Griffin Conine home run. He has 2 homers in this series. He had the walk-off. I mean, Conine and Herberto Hernandez, they had huge series for the Marlins. Conine's 2-run shot the difference in the 8-6 win, and the Marlins go from the 12-game losing streak to the sweep over the Phillies. It's a very impressive turnaround and maybe a start of getting hot once again going into the month of August. The Yankees and White Sox, they played the 4-game set. Game 3 was an absolute thriller and really it happened all in extras, really. Top first, the Yankees put up 4 runs on the White Sox early. Spencer Jones, he hits a 3-run home run, but the White Sox have the fight. They're down 3 in the 8th inning. Sam Antonacci, his 8th home run, 2-run shot puts them within 1. Very next batter, Munetaka Murakami, his 23rd of the season, ties this game up at 4. Nobody scores in the 10th. We go to the top of the 11th, where the Yankees get 1 on a sac fly. Then bottom 11th with a runner on, you've got a throwing error by Ali Sanchez, tries to backpick Murakami at third base, but the ball goes sailing into the outfield, which allows him to score to tie the game up. We go into the 12th, where Edgar Quiero picks up the RBI single, and the White Sox end up coming back against the Yankees to win it 6-5 in 12. A really good game, that one. And how about, to give one more game some love, Royals and Twins. This one wasn't high scoring or anything too crazy. You had Jack Caglione, his 17th of the year, a 2-run shot. Royals were up 3-0. They were good. Pitching was phenomenal. Noah Cameron, 8 innings, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts. We'll mention him again on the outstanding performance. He was outstanding. Matt Strahm blows this one. You've got 2 strikes. You're 1 strike away from winning this game. 2 outs. Bottom 9, the bases are loaded. You have a 3-run lead. But Cody Clemens hits the go-ahead walk-off ultimate grand slam, his 19th of the year. And all of a sudden, it goes from shutout and 1 hit to 4-3, you're winners, and you win the series with 2 walk-off wins. And by the way, that brought the Twins to 500. They're 55-55, and a win today would put them above 500 for the first time since mid-April we had, what was that, 6, 7 amazing games this week? I think 7. You got the 2 in Miami, the Padres, Dodgers, Tigers games, the White Sox, the Twins. Yeah, 7 really awesome games throughout this week. Um, yeah, just what more can you say? Just really cool stuff here. Let's get into the baseball news here and start talking about some of the trades that happened. Of course, the deadline is looming large. But I feel like the big dominoes effect, like at this point last year, we had at least more trades than what's been going on. We're still waiting for that to happen, but we did get a couple of trades, including a inner division trade. The Texas Rangers are trading for Logan O'Hoppe and Chase Silseth in exchange for Angel Arredondo, an infielder from the Angels, or from the big name for me here is Logan O'Hoppe. Honestly, one of my favorite catchers in the league still, and I'm always hoping that he'll continue to figure things out. But he continues to either get hurt or just kind of struggle at the plate from time to time. Came up with the Angels. Well, he had a small stint in 2022 where he just played 5 games. But 2023 was his first kind of like real taste of Major League Baseball. He was pretty good that year, 51 games. He had 43 hits, including his first 14 home runs of his career with a 796 OPS, kind of his high, really. His best year was in 2024. He picked up a 2.7 WAR across 136 games. But overall, the numbers aren't there. 5-year career with the Angels in 386 games has 2.6 WAR, a 227 batting average, and a 671 OPS. Nothing phenomenal that stands out on page, but he's a great catcher, great person. I wish all the best for Logan O'Hoppe, and hopefully a change of scenery might be able to help him. And I think that is a real case here. I believe they sent him down when they did get him. They optioned to AAA. Not sure when he's going to get that chance to get called up and to be with the Texas Rangers, but should be, hope shortly. Probably just send him down to see what they have with him, see how he works and everything, and then go from there. They also, in that trade, picked up Chase Silseth, who for a second I was like, is he a major leaguer? But he is a major leaguer. He's been with the Angels for 5 years as a relief pitcher in the back end of their bullpen. 82 games for him. Small sample sizes kind of each year. So far this year has been his main season of his career. You look at his first 4 years with the Angels: 7 games in 22, 16 games in 23, 2 games in 24, 10 games in 25. So far this year, he's gotten into 47 for the Angels, 39.2 innings. He's only given up 3 home runs this year, 48 strikeouts. In those 47 appearances, he's got a 2.72 ERA, and he's 3-2 in the win-loss record. So he's been helping out the Angels, who, obviously is in a position where they are not very good. So Texas will pick him up and Logan O'Hoppe in exchange for one of their prospects. I think Texas is going to be happy with this. You get a little backup catcher / potential to be a main catcher one day, your primary catcher, as well as a, going off of this year alone, a reliable arm in the back end. You're not looking at a guy who is a closer or some elite reliever, but he can definitely make a difference in a pennant race towards the end of the season. I think that's what Texas is looking for. So good for the Rangers here. And we'll move on to another trade that happened between the Detroit Tigers and the Baltimore Orioles here. Jake Rogers is the Tigers catcher, or at least was the Tigers catcher, as he's being traded to Baltimore in exchange for right-handed pitcher Zane Barnhart. Of course, Jake Rogers less time this year because Dylan Dingler continues to step up into more of a role. Rogers has been around with the Tigers since 2019. He did not play during the COVID season and was injured in 2022. So when you take 19, 21, and then, of course, 23 to this year, he spent 6 years all with the Detroit Tigers organization. And he's had his time as like their primary catcher. 107 games in 23, 102 games in 24. Outside of that, he always sits about mid-30s to 40 games on the year. Across his 6 years with the Tigers, a 2.4 WAR. He's got a 197 batting average and a 649 OPS. Not a great major league hitter, but still reliable behind the dish as a catcher and as defender. Tarek Skubal, after his start, or before his start, I believe, talked about Jake Rogers because the Tigers did DFA him before he was traded, saying that, it sucks because he's been around when he was around and he was his catcher. So obviously very difficult there for Skubal, but of course, he's probably heading out as well at some point. So regardless, Baltimore gets a new catcher here, which also begs the question what their plan is, because they're not, like, again, it's still very early and they're only 2.5 back of wild card, but they're 53 and 56. They've been below 500 for the majority of the season. And they have two, I want to say, young catchers in Samuel Basseo and Adley Rutschman, even though Adley's getting up there just a little bit as well. And you have to think, he was circulating in some trade rumors. Maybe you just grab Rogers here, so you can have two major league catchers just in case you still can stay competitive and end up in a playoff spot, but then also try to retool by trading Rutschman away and then making Samuel Basseo your main catcher going forward. It's very interesting to see the inner mechanisms here behind what some GMs might be thinking and what the plans are. But regardless, Baltimore has a new catcher. Now they'll have 3 on the team, I believe. Moving on here, let's talk about one more trade that happened, and that is A.J. Minter being traded from the New York Mets to the Minnesota Twins. In exchange, the Mets are receiving infielder Billy Amick and infielder Bruin Agbayani, I believe is the pronunciation of that name. So Mets beginning the fire sale. Of course, Minter was with the Braves in 2021 when they won the World Series. He's been with the Braves for a majority of his career, all the way from 2017 to 2024. He joined the Mets in 2025, and of course this year as well. In his small time with the Mets, in the 2 years, basically, he's only gotten into 36 games. He's been dealing with injuries. But when he has gotten into games, he has been very reliable for the Mets. A 2.12 ERA in those 36 games, 34 innings, only giving up 8 earned runs. Minter, as a whole, has been one of the better lefties in the game for a long time. You look at his entire 10-year career, going back those first 8 years with the Braves, and then the last 2 here with the Mets. 6.5 WAR for reliever, very good stuff. 420 games where he has a 3.18 ERA. Very impressive numbers for A.J. Minter. Shout out him, the 32-year-old. It goes to show just a little bit interesting on the Twins aspect of it, because adding Minter to your pen, that's a buy. That's a move here. As I mentioned, the Twins, after taking 2 of 3 from the Royals on 2 walk-off wins, they're now sitting 55 and 55, 1 game away from getting back above 500. Nobody expected this at the beginning of the season. Not only are they just 1 game back of the wild card, but because the Central has been kind of weak in general, they're only 3 games back of the White Sox and only a game back of the Guardians. So it's looking more like a 3-team race here, with the Twins trying to add themselves here. And by the way, the Tigers, depending on what they do with Skubal, they're just a couple games away from the Twins as well. So, it really gets into an interesting perspective here. But shout out the Twins. Look at last year's deadline. It was like the worst day in Twins history, really. They traded away everybody. Like, everyone went. And while the Twins are, I assume, still shopping around Joe Ryan potentially, maybe trying to retool. Like, I don't know what the Twins' direction is. That's always been my take with the Twins and Cardinals. I pair those 2 teams up all the time here. I don't know what directions either of these teams are taking, because both I had to be, expected to be really shit. And they've both been pretty impressive based off of my preseason predictions here. Of course, Cardinals dropping out a little bit more every now and then, but still the Twins 55 and 55, Cardinals 54 and 55. I did not expect that from either of those teams. But yeah, shout out to the Twins for trying to make it work and trying to add here, and maybe they hold on to Ryan. Maybe they try to go for a postseason run. I don't really know, but anyways, that's my take on it. But those are the 3 trades that went down this week, and I'm expecting a lot more to happen this weekend leading up to, of course, Monday's trade deadline. Stay tuned for that episode. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but it's going to be a bit of a wild one here. Let's talk about the Miami Marlins really quickly here before we move on into the other things of the episode, because the Marlins, I think, deserve just a little bit of flowers, because to go from a 12-game losing streak to sweeping the Phillies with not just one but two crazy wins, including a walk-off. The fight and the resilience right now by the Miami Marlins, they got back into third place by being able to sweep the Phillies. They're now actually tied with the Nationals for third place at 55 and 55. A lot of teams are 55 and 55 right now. If we go off of that really quickly, the Twins, the Astros, the Marlins, the Nationals, the Pirates, I mean, they're all 55 and 55. The Padres are 55 and 54. The Cardinals are 54 and 55. Like, you got a lot of teams just circling around 500 right now. Guardians 56 and 54. I digress. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Miami Marlins. And to do what they did, to take all the losses and all the negative energy and the 4 straight sweeps that have been surrounding this team, and to completely flip the script and to then get a sweep, it really is impressive. Obviously, you know, a 12-game losing streak this late in the season, it does kind of throw away the division just a little bit. The Braves have been playing a little bit of a better baseball as well. I mean, they're 9.5 back right now still. But with the 3-game winning streak does there, and what that sweep does, it kind of gives them just a little bit more hope right now. And they're only 2.5 back of the wild card. It is going to get really crazy. I feel like for the wild cards this year for both the AL and the NL, but Miami, they have a young, fun team. They just need to have that confidence still, and a series against a team that is better than you, record-wise in the division. The Miami Marlins, and I guess Nationals as well, only sit 2.5 back of the Phillies. So, you have another 3-game set, you have another sweep, and all of a sudden Miami's in second place in that division. Who would have thought that? So, again, shout out to Marlins. They could have been in second place had it not been for that 12-game losing streak, but obviously, that's not the way the cookies end up crumbling here, but still, giving the Marlins a little bit of love here, and we'll see how they enter the month of August. Let's move on into some injury updates here, see what went down. Kerry Carpenter from the Tigers lands on the 10-day IL. That's not going to help Detroit. He's got a plantar fasciitis. Spencer Steer from the Reds on the 10-day IL with a sprained wrist. Casey Schmidt, 10-day IL with a torn knee meniscus. He is questionable to return for 2026. Curtis Mead, this one sucks if you're Boston, because not only did you trade away Kennelly early to get this guy, but in his Boston Red Sox debut, he got hit by the pitch and now lands up on the 10-day IL with a fractured wrist. That's gotta suck if you are Boston. Hopefully this will be a return for him. Speaking of the Twins, we've been talking about them. Byron Buxton, their best player, on the 10-day IL with a hip impingement. That's not going to help them, but they've been playing great baseball. Let's see if they can keep it up. Royals lose Vinny Pasquantino on the 10-day IL. He's got wrist soreness. I feel like Vinny goes down once or twice on the IL every year. Man, I wish he could stay healthy. He's a great ball player. But I digress about that. Those are the injury updates from the week, and now we can move on to the outstanding performances from the week. And there was some shining gems in this one. Griffin Jax from the Rays, 5 2/3, 5 hits, a run, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Troy Melton, a great start for the Tigers, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. Garrett Cole goes 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Sandy Alcantara, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, a walk, and 5 Ks. Gavin Williams, 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 12 Ks. Brandon Pfaadt, 7 innings, 6 hits, no runs, a walk, and 4 Ks. Cam Schlittler, 6 1/3, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 8 Ks. Randy Dobnak, pitching really well for the Royals recently and against his former team, goes 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, a walk, and 4 Ks. Shout out Dobnak. Chris Sale goes 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and 9 strikeouts. Matthew Boyd for the Cubs, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. Eduardo Rodriguez for the D-backs goes 8 innings, allowing 5 hits, no runs, a walk, and 2 Ks. Eric Lauer goes 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, a walk, and 4 Ks. Sean Burke, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 10 Ks against the Yankees. Ryan Weathers, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, and 4 Ks. They were the pitcher's duel on that last game. And how about Noah Cameron? 8 innings, 1 hit baseball, no runs, 2 walks, and 7 Ks. One of his best starts of this season, and it sucks the Royals could not finish him off to get the win. But those are the outstanding performances from the week. And now that brings us to the stat leaderboard, which, surprise, surprise, actually has some change in it potentially. Yeah, it does here. Average. Otto Lopez has been leading that for the last few weeks. No longer. It's Luis Arias. He's trying to steal the batting title away from him. Arias with a 328 average now leads. And he has 135 hits, but Otto Lopez has 138. These two guys very close right now in both hits and average. They're going back and forth there. Yordan Alvarez adds to his home run lead, which he took from Schwarber. He's up to 35 now. Last week it was tied with I forget for RBIs who was tied with it, but CJ Abrams comes out of nowhere to take both of them now. He now leads after a strong week, 82 RBIs. James Wood, of course, he's been leading runs by a huge amount, and he's going to win that. He's got 99 runs on the season. He also has 89 walks, continues to lead both of those. Nazman Nunez up a couple stolen bases to 39. Yordan Alvarez down a couple points in the OPS, 1.072. Last week, we had a 5-way tie with 12 wins. It's just now a 2-way tie for Sonny Gray and Christopher Sanchez, each with 13 wins on the year. Jacob Mizorowski still leads in ERA and strikeouts, 1.58, and then 185 strikeouts for the Miz. And Cade Smith, who's been leading saves all on his own since, I think, early May, now has a friend, Brian Baker, also has the same amount of saves as Cade Smith. Both of them are tied with the league with 30 saves on the season. That is your stat leaderboard here. And that now brings us to the upcoming series for the weekend here. Of course, the last day of July today, and then the first series into August. And this is also the last series before the trade deadline. So these 3 games are super important and are going to matter for a lot of these teams. The Cardinals in Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. The Phillies in Baltimore going up against Baltimore. How about this? The White Sox and the Rays, the best team in the AL versus the best team in the AL Central. The Rays and White Sox currently the 1 seed and 2 seed. They go up against each other. That series is a lot of fun. D-backs get a series against the Guardians. The Tigers are playing the Athletics. Twins at Mariners. Brewers at Angels. The Rangers are against the Astros. And by the way, when we talked about the Rangers and the Mariners, we were like, oh, it's a half a game difference between these two teams, the first seed and the second seed. Well, that's the exact same thing that's going on right now. Texas, half a game up on the Astros after they swept the Angels. You got a team that's 55 and 54 in Texas, and a team that's 55 and 55 in the Astros. This is a very big series for the AL West, so these 3 games matter a lot. The Marlins and the Mets will engage in, I believe, a 4-game set, as will the Nationals and the Braves. So some big NL East matchups there. The Pirates will take on the Reds in what I believe is a 4-game series as well. The Yankees will get the Cubs. Giants taking on the Padres in another 4-game series. The Royals will play the Rockies in a series of who cares, really? 2 bottom teams in the league. While the Red Sox will be in LA to take on the Dodgers. That is the upcoming series, and those are some pretty big ones. As I mentioned, Rangers and Astros, Rays and White Sox, some really fun matchups there. That brings us to our playoff predictor. Not any teams changing, just some seeding. So in the AL wildcard, the 6-seeded Guardians would take on the 3-seeded Rangers, while the 5-seeded Red Sox take on the 4-seeded Yankees. How do you like some deja vu from last year? The Red Sox and Yankees played in a wild card series as well. Rangers beat the Guardians. Yankees again beat the Red Sox. So you have the Rangers versus the White Sox, who are the 2 seed, while the Yankees take on the Rays, who are the 1 seed. And both the White Sox and the Rays beat the Rangers and Yankees. So the ALCS matchup is the White Sox and the Rays. And by the way, they play each other this weekend, so this could be a potential ALCS matchup. In which the Rays end up beating the White Sox. They head to the World Series. In the NL, the 6-seeded Phillies taking on the 3-seeded Braves in a little NL East matchup there. That would be awesome. The 5-seeded D-backs take on the 4-seeded Cubs. The Braves beat the Phillies. The D-backs beat the Cubs. So the NLDS matchups have the Braves at the Brewers, who are the 2-seed, and the D-backs at the Dodgers, who are the 1-seed. Some PTSD there from Dodgers fans from the NLDS matchup between the D-backs and Dodgers back in 2023. And by the way, it's deja vu again. The D-backs beat the Dodgers. Meanwhile, the Brewers handled the Braves, They head to the NLCS matchup, D-backs and Brewers. I feel like this would be a really good series in which the Milwaukee Brewers would win. They head to the World Series, and this would be a very interesting small ball baseball World Series matchup. The Rays and the Brewers, and it is your Milwaukee Brewers, who are your 2026 World Series champions, their first World Series title in their history if the season ended today. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to end our episode here today. I appreciate you all very, very much. As I mentioned last episode, and I'll mention it here again really quickly, Monday's trade deadline being at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, instead of me just having my episode, releasing it in the morning as I usually do, or early afternoon as I usually do, I think I'm going to be releasing the episode in the evening. I'm going to wait until after the deadline is done, or at least start it while it's like 5:30, like start recording at least, so that way, there won't be any other trades that go down. I'll have it all talked about in Monday's episode, then perfect. And then Friday, it most likely will be the time to do the player of the month from July. So I think that's what we're looking at for the 2 episodes next week. The first ever evening episode on the Monday, and then of course player of the month coming next week. So stay tuned for all of that and more, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you all. Thank you everybody so much, and I will see you in the evening on Monday.